wearing red, white and blue, almost today. You'll see why in a minute. But before I get there, I just wanted to say this was going to be my last little show. And I only did this as a joke to start with, just my little contribution to try and cheer people up in these times. But anyway, this is what I was going to finish with this one. But if you want me to continue, just send a yes or say something like that. And even if you do a view, just send it. Then I know whether it's worth doing or not. Anyway, here we are. I got on a plane. I'd resigned from my professorship at Williams College, Massachusetts. I decided to go back to England because my daughter was there, and I didn't have a job to go to, but luckily I'd applied for a job before I set off. In fact, two or three jobs, and I got one of them, and it was at what's now called Oxford Brookes University, running the photography department. So I did have a job. It wasn't the same sort of money or anything I had in America, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and I was lucky to get the job. But anyway, the other thing I did was to apply for an exhibition which was called the London Project, and it was organised by the Museum of London and the City of London Corporation, and also the Photographers Gallery in London. And I sent in my little proposal, and this is one of the pictures from the proposal. It's my daughter at St Paul's Underground Station, and that forms the bottom panel, or a picture like this, in this piece of work, which was called London Layers. And it seemed to epitomise to me the fact that London, unlike New York, had a lot of historical layers, more than New York did, although New York has quite a few. And this thing, you can see it's quite big. It's called London Layers. It starts at the bottom, as I say, the underground, and then it moves up to my daughter with her grandfather, who is actually an archaeologist, in the London sewers. That was difficult to get access to, you can imagine. Then we went to a London Roman cemetery in London. That also had difficulty getting access to because people like to go and steal the skeletons. And then we've got, talking of that, we've got the crypt at St Paul's Cathedral with Nelson's sarcophagus at the top, and you can see Pinny and her grandfather there. And then above that we've got the main choir at St Paul's. I'll come back to that in a minute. And then right at the top, of course, we've got the dome of St Paul's with Pinny, you can't see on this little picture, looking down. So you've got a whole cross-section of London Layers. And it was shown at the Photographers Gallery in London, and it got quite a few reviews. So I was quite pleased to get back to London, but also to get back to showing my work and making my work again. So St Paul's Cathedral, they actually opened it very, very early in the morning for me to go in and work there, take photographs, scan it out, work it all out. And once I was sitting in the choir stall thinking about it, and I thought, what sort of, you know, what does this bring to mind? And of course it brought to mind this. We were in the Mother Church of the British Empire, remember? And did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green? And was the Holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? And did the countenance divine shine forth upon our clouded hills? And was Jerusalem builded here among those dogs satanic Bring me my bow of burning gold, bring me my arrows of desire, bring me my spear of clouds and foam, bring me my chariots of fire. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. There's another reason why I chose St Paul's for this piece of work, and that was because I started life, my second school I went to 6 different schools when I was 7 and a half as a chorister at St Paul's. I got in there as a chorister, and I sang, where I was sitting in that choir stall thinking about it, and actually, truth be told, having a little prayer to say I'd been brought back safely from America. Anyway, I sat there and I thought about it and how it was that I'd been thrown out of St Paul's after about 3 weeks because I started wetting the bed. I was terrified of being there on my own from London. First time I'd left home, 7 and a half. And I moved to a local choir school near Settle Minster, which is actually a beautiful building. And I went there. So it was something of a triumphant return for me to actually make this piece of work, come back from America, and sort of say something about the history of England through my own experience. Bring me my bow of burning gold, bring me my arrows of desire, bring me my spear, oh clouds unfold, bring me my chariot of fire. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, nor shall they build Jerusalem on England's green and pleasant land. And whatever happened to that choir boy's voice?